Hey Connectors, welcome to another episode of Staying Connected, where we explore the depths of self, the people around us, and our environment. We hope to uncover any life lessons through our experiences, reflect on meaningful relationships built along the way, and to ultimately learn about one another through open and honest conversations. How's it going, guys? I'm Kenny.
And I'm Scott. Let's jump into it. So today's episode is about fitting in. So I have an example from my workplace when I first started entering the workforce. I recently graduated. I was just really eager to just get into the company and show them what I got. Um, so this is a fitness wellness facility. And at the time, I'm young, I'm eager to go. I want to show everyone like what I got. Like I'm the top. Like I want to show them that I'm really capable. I'm really strong. I'm really fast. I'm really knowledgeable. So one of the stupidest thing I did was when I got in there, I just kind of had like I had a really big ego of like, you know what? Like I'm the fittest guy here. Look at me in my slim fit shirts, and like nice toned calves. But yeah, I just came in there with an attitude like, man, I'm just gonna dominate everything. So what I did was I would just, we would have these things called a team lift where trainers throughout the day we would just get together and we would work out, right? And I did that, and they're doing some pretty at the time very lame stuff in my opinion, because it was just more of like corrective stuff and just focusing on form. And for myself, I'm like I'm an advanced lifter now. Okay, I'm ahead of the game. Like, why are we going back to this? Let's go lift some heavy stuff. Let's put on some rap music and let's just go ham, right? That's why I was go thinking, and then like eventually I was like, you know what? I'm gonna skip the team lift. Keep in mind, I'm the new guy, and I'm like skipping all this like team bonding and um, you know, um, collaboration and just having
Yeah.
fun with other trainers. And eventually, I just found myself working out by myself. And even when we were on the field, like I felt like there wasn't that cohesiveness or there wasn't that it didn't gel very well. When I tried to talk to the other trainers, it felt like they're very distant, and it felt like very cold. Like I would ask them something, and it just felt like they're just giving me answers, and it's not really that camaraderie that I was looking
Yeah,
for. I'm like,
not
and then
connected.
yeah, and then the whole time, like I worked there for like a year or so, and the whole time I was like, man, is it me, or is it like these people that are just really weird? Like, is this how these trainers are? Now looking back on it now, I wish I could have done all the team lists because that's where communicate. You get to learn about the other trainers, not only what they did for their exercise science or what their philosophy and mindsets are for like working out and wellness overall, but also their hobbies. What do they like to do? Their friends and family, because in the workplace, if you only talk about work, you can only bond so much, right? You gotta know a little bit more about the other person, like what's their hobbies, where are they from, um, um, what do you do after work? Have you hang out with them after work? Got in a beer with them, go to a networking event, whatever. I didn't do any of that. So you know, going back to trying to fit in, what I should have done is done all that stuff, go to these team lifts, stay after hours and talk to these people instead of just like, okay, peace, my shift is done. See you tomorrow. Learn about these people, take time because you gotta invest in you gotta invest in the short term and play the long term goal. Because then I'm gonna be here for a while. Let's make this environment friendly. Let's say if I'm running short or I need a little help, I need to be able to trust the other trainers and they need to be able to trust me. So, and I always tie it back to the relationship you and I have. And I remember when we first met, we were talking about things, and after we got to that awkward phase, oh, what are you here for? Who do you know, or whatever. We talked about like the little things, like besides like after, oh, where do you work? It's like, oh, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I mean, all the little things too really make a huge difference in building that connection with everybody. And then just to reflect on what you said, the whole question about is it me? Is it me that's doing something wrong or right? You know, we all have that hesitation when it comes to like meeting new people and making that approach or for them to make an approach. And it's kind of a situation where we question ourselves. Is it me? Should I make that approach and all of that?
The answer is it's always you. You know, you got to make that change. You know, you can't expect someone else to change if you don't change. So it looking back now, it's definitely me. It was my fault. I should have taken ownership. I should have like stopped being on my high horse because I'm the new guy. What am I doing? I don't know jack about the culture and the work environment, the flow of this company, and here I am just strutting in, doing my own thing. No, I need to. Um, you know how you always hear, oh, you gotta stand out. You gotta stand out. You gotta take your own lane. You know, because everyone's going the same lane. You always see that over social media, and everyone tells you that, right? To be different. But the funny thing is sometimes you have to conform to things
Mhm.
first. You know, get people to trust you, build that relationship, and then
Yeah,
once you have the base ready, now you can go into your own lane, but not without establishing that foundation first. You know,
yeah.
that's what. No, I don't like. And another example I remember from a podcast is one of the guys was just seemed like me. He was just out there trying to be a young buck, trying to like show his superiors that
Mhm.
I'm putting in all this work, but all he was doing was just showing off, and the other guys around him got pissed at that. So yeah, he's doing more than he should, but that's not. It's a team effort. You got to build that first. Once you have that foundation, you have that trust, you have that relationship. Okay, yeah, now you can go do your thing because now they know who you are. Because if I
Yeah.
don't know who you are, it doesn't matter what you do. I'm probably not gonna like it.
And that's the thing, whenever we start a new job, I mean, for us, it's new meeting new people in that job. But then for everybody that's been working in that job already, they kind of know each other's personality and they know how each other performs, all of that. So, yeah, again, making that approach first is pretty key into building that foundation that you hope to have with your coworkers or just your peers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure you remember. I think we just did this episode, like episode 14. You know how I told you about like I'm in this human resources professional emerging professional group,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
know how everyone like the question was like, oh, what are you doing differently this year for Christmas or the holidays? Because we're in a pandemic. Everyone had like a similar answer of like, oh, I'm just gonna stay at home. I'm just gonna spend time with family. I'm learning a new skill, and then here I am trying to be unique when I shouldn't have. Just looking back now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna working with I work with my friends. I do capital venture, and I'm trying to finish up this deal by the end of the year. It's
They're different.
how no, but then like there's a good and bad time to be different. I
Mhm.
now that I think about it, if that wasn't the right time, it's okay to be different, but you gotta pick the
Yeah, yeah,
right
it's a
time.
timing of yeah.
Yeah, and then like I remember specifically like after I said that, like everyone on the camera was just like nodding their head, like what the heck is
You
this?
can see everybody on that virtual call. So
Yeah, it's
the
like
timing of it.
again, if you're in a financial group, yeah, everyone would be really excited and they'll ask follow-up questions. You know, like the other members when they said what they were doing, there was a lot of follow-up questions.
Mhm.
And for mine, it was just like, oh, okay, good. Looking back, I feel really stupid. And no, it's just something so little, but you want to build trust at the end of the day. I think fitting in is very
Yeah,
vital if you want to be
yeah.
successful. Trying to like fit out at the beginning of when you first started a job or with a company or even a relationship,
Hmm.
it's kind of like swimming upstream. You know, like you're putting yourself through so much strain, and you're going against the grain for really no reason. When at the beginning you can go with the flow, you can help yourself, and you don't get in your own way. Because if you think about it, you don't have that relationship and you don't have that trust, then you know, when it's time for you to do important projects, or when it's time for you to work together with another person, um, is it going to be successful? Maybe. But is it going to be enjoyable? Probably not, because the other person doesn't trust you. Um, and since they don't trust you, upper management is not going to give you those fun or favorable projects that will allow you to flex your leadership abilities, you'll flex your communication skills, and just overall allow you to develop as a professional, right? So that's why you want to fit in. And it tells them, you know what, I made the right hire. Because when managers or bosses make a hire, they're looking for the right fit, right? The right culture, the right person for their company. And if you come in and you're completely different than what their expectations are, or what they need from someone, you know, if they need someone to be you know, down by the books, and someone who follows orders well and who's very detail oriented, and here you are being wild and reckless, doing your own thing, most likely they're gonna get ostracized, or you're gonna get fired, or you're gonna get um, put in like a position where you do like trivial tasks, and you're not gonna get the fun tasks, you know, where you can really grow. So for me now, you know, I still make the same mistake as we just mentioned that story about my professional group, but moving forward, I'm gonna be more relatable. You know, I'm be more human and try to be more like them. But I think that the thing that, you know, when I tell that to people, you know, it's like, oh Scott, you're being fake. You know, that's not who you are, and you know, you're trying to be someone that, um, you know, what that other person wants you to be, or that group. You know, and I'm like, that's the point. I want to be similar enough where they can trust me, and you know, everything that we talked about, and build that relationship. And once, you know, that's all set up, okay, now let me slowly spread my wings and start to create my own path. Or because
Yeah.
wouldn't you agree, like you go in your workplace and they want a certain type of person, and here you are doing your own thing right at the beginning. You know, you think they're
Yeah.
gonna trust you with any cool projects, or hey Kenny, go ahead and take this project on, or hey Kenny, work with that guy because I trust you. Probably not.
Yeah. That's the thing with
So,
every, yeah, with whenever you jump into a new job, it's like you have to kind of, yeah, like we mentioned, fit in. Were you that type to kind of be like extremely observant of each individual person within that company to kind of, pick up some of their habits and maybe try to fit into their habits just so you could kind of get close?
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Unfortunately, I wasn't that skilled. Slowly picking up on it. I think what I would do, I would just talk. Nowadays, I would just talk to them. You know, like after we get through that phase of like work and everything, then you know, once we settle down, like, hey, you know, what do you do for fun after work? Do you have any? And you know, I like you said, I'll look at their desks and be like, oh, you have kids and they play sports, or if they're a sports fan, hey, you like the Patriots, or you like the 49ers, you know, who's your
yeah,
favorite player? And it starts from there, you know, the little things.
yeah.
And
I mean that
that's how.
I relate to that specific experience as well. Just like, I work with in a large company as well, and um, yeah, I remember the first week I started my job. I just went over to everybody's desk, and you can kind of see the personality, what their hobbies are, and yeah, just even before talking to the person, like what their interests are, and yeah, that kind of helped with me being able to make that approach into fitting in and also just learning more about my coworkers. So yeah, interesting point you pointed out.
I wanna go back to about like being fake in order to fit in. Like sometimes, do you feel yourself doing certain things or saying certain things, and it feels kind of fake, or do you get that feeling at all?
Especially I feel like I am, especially like if I'm introducing myself to somebody totally new. For example, like these networking events, it's
Right.
you don't. I mean, for me, I don't know a lot of the people there. A lot of people at these events apparently know each other already. So,
Right.
um, you know, I do catch myself sometimes um, being a little fake, which I reflect on it and I'm like, the hell did you just do? But it gave me that approach to kind of build that conversation with whoever I talk to, and yeah, from there you just kind of like start to be real, and then
What do you consider fake then? What's considered fake when you meeting someone for the first time, or what do you do?
I would say like my experience of like this one time I felt like I was fake. It's like just I travel everywhere and
Mm.
I I know about this place, that
Oh, okay.
place. But in
You didn't
reality,
really
no. Yeah.
you
But
didn't go there.
that was a one time only thing. Um, because I guess the conversation with myself and just other people in that conversation was just boring. So I think I was fake because I wanted to kind of liven up the conversation, and
Right.
yeah,
You did the
and
group a favor.
tried to.
I do catch myself doing that too. I remember at a networking event, they were talking about like um Machu Picchu, and they were like, "Oh, I love that place." And then I have never been to Machu Picchu. I literally don't know anything about Machu Picchu, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, it was so beautiful, right?" And they're like, "Oh, what am I doing?" And they're like, "Yeah, Scott, it's super nice, right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, breathtaking." I'm like, I wish I could go back, and then I kind of like switch it, like, where else have you been? So I don't have to like bathe in my fakeness, because
Yeah,
I thought I felt like if I said, "Oh, what was your favorite thing?" And they would
yeah,
like reverse that back on me, and then I don't know how I would have answered. Or what's not to like? I can't pick.
yeah. That generic answer. Keep it like that. But yeah, I feel like everybody, you know, has those experiences where they kind of sort of are fake just to you know liven up everything.
I feel like, yeah, I think you do need to do that to an
Mhm.
extent,
Mhm.
just to build the relationship. But then that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you continue being fake.
Mhm.
Once you have that relationship, okay, now you can be yourself. Now you can talk about
Mhm.
early stage capital venture and like you
Yeah.
know everything else in between. But at the beginning, yeah, it's tough because you want people to like you, but
Mhm.
you don't want to change yourself so much that you're like fabricating stories and like you're making up fake emotions. No, that's not the point. If
Yeah.
you feel like, I know if I had to do that every single time I went to a networking event or every single time I met
Mhm.
someone new, I'd be crazy. It's like, when can I be myself?
Oh, yeah, it's overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming. And you know what? For me, being not being from this island of Oahu, it was quite an adjustment for me to come from a small town, which I know everybody, to an environment where I don't know anybody.
Mm.
Um, so, I mean, I guess transitioning from your experience and the whole idea of fitting in, for me personally, fitting in during college was a big challenge for me because not only I was trying to fit into the whole um, environment and the fast-paced, moving, crazy traffic environment that Oahu is. Yeah, I had to start new friendships, and um, yeah, I found myself having so much difficulty with that, even though I'm kind of like pretty open and I like to
Mm-hmm.
make the approach. So I guess being that confident, approachable person that I am, that kind of sort of helped me along the way. So my experience back in 2011, oh, it's already 2020. But yeah, back in 2011 when I first started college, um, you know, we have these classes that um, the first week we have like syllabus week, and that's when you introduce yourself to people. And you know, in college there's people from all around the world, not just locally, um, but internationally. And what is it? You know, this is a time where you share more about yourself in front of everybody, and you know, kind of reflects back onto the whole fake type of thing.
Right.
Um, but in this case, I did not be fake. I was just true. Um, and I guess being true was also a challenge that that I'll share a little bit more. So, being from Lanai, with only one school, and you know, saying that in front of everybody in my classes during introduction week, they would always ask me like, "Where is that? I've never. Is that an island? I've never heard of such a place." And to the point where, yeah, they would always ask like, um, "What do you have like electric, Wi-Fi, all of that? How do you come here?"
That's kind of funny. Is
Yeah.
it like people from Oahu asking you that,
Yeah,
or
so
is
it,
it like
it was a mixture of people from Oahu and like international students.
how
So
ironic?
not just yeah, so a lot of people weren't aware of just that island and just the whole lifestyle of it. Um, and what is it? You know, they would always say, "Oh, you're the first person I met from that island," and I would get that like a lot, like every single class I went to, like, "Oh, you're the first person I met." And from there, you know, I guess that's when I found out like I guess Oahu, they have that question like what high school you from?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I guess that also plays um, a factor in fitting
That's
in.
how they rank you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you're from a private school. Okay. Or
Yeah.
you're from like a ghetto public school. Yeah, trust me.
So that was one challenge that I had to kind of deal with, because you know a lot of people didn't know where my hometown was from, and when they asked me what high school I was from, I was like, I only went to one school from K to 12, and that's where I felt like the judging got worse. Just like just being put down a little. But for me, I was like, I was open to sharing more about my hometown and just my
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle with everybody. It's like, you know, you don't know much about me, so let me share
Right.
more about myself with you. So that approachable, confident mindset allowed me to fit in, to make that approach into trying to connect with other students in my class, and just have develop friendships over the years during college. And from there, we talk about hobbies, um, and that's also another thing that really helped me develop my relationships with my peers. I like music and I like outdoor stuff, and a lot of the students that I met and developed friendships with, yeah, they like the same stuff as well. So I guess geographically, being from somewhere not like city like Oahu and um, anywhere else in the world, it was it was an obstacle that I had to like fight through, just like being that person that to make that approach, that
Mm-hmm.
first approach.
It
So
seems
yeah.
like after that awkward phase of oh, where are you from? And for people listening that are not from here, that is what when mainlanders come to Oahu to study, that's literally the question. Like, oh, do you guys have electricity there? That's basically the stereotype. So do you guys ride dolphins to class? And that is the irony of someone from Oahu, an island person, asking another island person if they have Wi-Fi there. And it's like, yeah, bro, I parked my dolphin next door. Like,
It is ironic. It's just you wouldn't expect a local person to say that, or yeah, to ask that. You know, I thought to myself, why not share my hometown with
Mm,
everybody else, and just, you know, making more people aware of
yeah.
how proud I am to be from my hometown.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you find out that like after all that, like you have a lot more in common with people than you
Hmm.
thought. Like, oh, we like the same music, we like
Yeah.
the same activities, you know. Just once you get past that awkward phase of like, you know, asking all the BS questions and whatever, trying to fit in and whatnot, and then
Yeah.
once you get all past all that fluff, it's like, okay, let's get to the meat of it. Oh, you like sports? Oh, that's so cool. I do sports too. Um, you know, you like gardening, you like cooking, you know, you like food. Yeah, everyone loves
Yeah.
food. Where's your favorite place to eat? This ramen place. Oh, me too. So, you know, going back to a little fakeness is when, you know, in class they would just go around like, oh, where are you from? Your major, and then like name one thing interesting about you, right? Like
Yeah.
I would
The
purposely
famous
do this.
question.
It's like someone would be like, oh yeah, I love to like I love to what was it? Oh, I love to watch like these old movies, and then like when it's my turn, I would say the same thing. I would point to that person, and we like
Hmm.
go back and forth pointing about, and we build that rapport. And then after class, they're like, hey man, it's like you like those kind of movies? And yeah, yeah. I know I wouldn't, but I needed a friend. I needed a friend in class, so you know, it turns out like, you know, that opening line of
Hmm.
me being fake led me to a really good friendship because
Yeah.
now he likes basketball. Okay, I like basketball too. Um, he likes reading. I like reading too. So just from that, you build you know, you build something really great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do this with everybody,
Yeah.
but
Don't be fake. I mean, try to be your true self as much as you can. Because yeah, you're gonna have people. You're just gonna create problems for yourself if you continue to be
you
fake.
you have like multiple people in your class. Hey, you say you like this.
Yeah.
you're
I
from
thought you
you're
said you like this. Yeah.
you're from Oahu. How come you know how to ice skate? So
Yeah, there's gonna be those observant students or
it's like
people.
was it Dr. Seuss? Wasn't he like no one's more you than you or something?
Mhm.
That's so true.
Yeah, so yeah, that was my experience, and it's continuing. I mean, I've learned along the way, and yeah, every time I meet new people, it's like, say, do you have like the same introduction every time you meet someone?
Oh, what do you say?
I mean, now that like we're working in our own careers now, yeah, I mean, name my 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 job and hobbies. That's pretty much it. I don't go deeper than that. That's kind of like, yeah, the introduction. Um, how about you?
I would do name.
Yeah.
Instead of like saying my job title,
Hmm.
I would say like let's say for example, um, I work with some geriatric patients, right? And basically I would tell them, you know, instead of being a geriatric trainer, I would tell them, oh, my job is to make sure our Hawaii's residents are continuing to, you know, live out, you know, the life they want to live. You know, continue being happy
Yeah.
and making sure they're strong and able, you know, to do
Yeah.
whatever they want to do. All that, you know. And for
Yeah.
me,
Rather, yeah.
it seems like a more interesting thing. Oh, tell me more about that. And you know, because sometimes you tell people like a job
Yeah.
title and it
You tell them
doesn't have
straight
like,
up, everybody like, oh.
oh, okay, oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And then
Yeah.
where's this company at? Oh, really? Oh, okay. And it just
That's
kind
a
of dies
thing.
like,
Like, when they want to hear the company and they want to hear, yeah, they want to hear how exciting the title is, but you know, that's when it gets to,
yeah, it's like
judgmental.
they don't want to network with this person now.
Yeah, like, oh, let me move on. Like,
It,
oh man.
it's like, why you give me your card? You know, like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna contact you because what
yeah.
you did. So why just wasting your card? So
Yeah, that's something that we all had to get used to, once we jumped into our careers, that business
I,
card.
I
So
think that's one aspect that and I myself need to get better at is being more curious about what the other person does, and I want to see if like where their passions lay. Like let's say someone tells me, "Oh, you're in media," and then and I would try to find out, "Oh, what part of media? Well, no, what led you to that?" Because there's
yeah,
there's a million things I want to learn about media, and like what gets you excited to go to your job, like just things like that. Trying to learn more about them and their
yeah,
passions, instead of just like one word answer. And
yeah.
and hopefully next year maybe we can do
Mhm.
more networking events, or even when I meet my friends. I just want to see. I want to be passionate in trying to learn about this person,
Yeah.
instead of like, oh, good, cool, okay, I'm gonna go back to talking to my friend now.
That's how it's like, we're so used to going to like physically meeting people and just introducing ourselves personally, but now it's all virtual now. I haven't had experience with all of that stuff too much. Um, you're in like a couple organizations, and how is that like just introducing yourself to people via Zoom call?
I wish they would change up the questions instead of like
Hmm.
your name, where you work at.
Yeah,
They can look that up in like
yeah,
couple of seconds on Google. Instead like, oh, what's one project that you're really excited about working on so far? Like
yeah,
any new things in your life that you're excited to share. Like, what's a passion you've taken up? What's a fun hobby that you picked up during this pandemic, or like what's a new outlook or
yeah.
mentality that you picked up, or something like that, something exciting that I
Very
can really
much.
pick up upon, instead of like, oh yeah, I'm at this company and I do this.
Some people sound like that too. I'm at this company.
God, there's someone been sucked out of their life, and so it also falls on the responsibility of the person asking the prompt. Because if you keep asking the same question, you get the same old answer. And have you ever been a part of a conversation where it's like, "Oh, how are you? Good," and the other person, "Oh, how are you? Good." So all you get is good, good,
Yeah. Good.
good,
You. Yeah.
good. Okay,
Good,
bye.
okay.
God, God.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there, but it's something that we just need to
Yeah, I wish
improve
we could
on.
have more exciting conversations, and people are interesting. It's just we gotta um, we gotta prep them better. We gotta give them a
Mhm.
better platform, or a better question, or a better prompt, in
Better
order to
questions, yeah.
better, yeah, in order to better introduce themselves. And it
Mhm.
goes back into fitting in. You want to build that trust and relationship. You gotta ask pretty good questions. You know, and then they'll open up more. And then
Mhm.
they'll see that, oh, this person is genuinely interested in me, instead of asking like similar cookie cutter questions. Oh, what school you went to?
I mean that's a legendary question right there.
No, like it's funny. Like people are like, for people on the mainland, they don't understand how big of a culture of like, where did you go to school is over here. Because
Mhm.
you can go to a public school, and then there's like different tiers of which public school. Like, oh,
Oh,
you went to, like, I remember, like, I still tell my friend this is like, he goes to like Mililani, right? And that's one of
uh-huh.
the better public schools here. And
Okay.
I'm not gonna reveal where I went to. Google search that. But like, I went to a not so good, and I put that in
Mhm.
quotation marks.
Mhm.
Determines how you defined it. A not so good public school. And then the first time we met, I said that, and he had like a little like stupid smirk on his face, like he's better than me. Like,
Oh,
mm, like,
yeah, yeah.
but then I know that he's a good guy now, but at the
Uh-huh.
time it's like, yeah, like, I'm from Mililani, it's a much better school. If I were to say like, oh, I'm from a private school, oh, I think he would have been crushed.
Yeah, I would have been quiet. It's like, oh,
But it doesn't matter, if
it does not.
you can be a jerk and then you go to a good school and you still be a jerk. So
But, but yeah, that question never gets old.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap up. We definitely need to revisit. I always freaking say that. I always say we need to revisit, because then like a lot of these topics, they do intertwine and they go crisscross.
Yeah,
But
they do.
we will revisit these because there's a lot of stories to tell, and
Mhm.
um, there's so much examples to pick from. But we will
Yep.
revisit this for sure. But let's go ahead and jump into our recommendation of the
Recommendations.
week.
All
Of the
right.
week.
Okay, so for me, because we're wrapping up the whole year already, I just want to, recommend people to just take time to reflect on this past year and, you know, look into the new year with some sort of optimism. And, you know, I might have mentioned this a couple, maybe like at the beginning of our whole podcast project, you know, journaling is super important. Um, just keeps a record of your thoughts, your emotions, and also things that you can improve on. But one specific opening for your next journal entry would be dear, let's say, dear self, dear Kenny, dear Scott. So you're going to write to yourself and kind of reflect on what challenges you faced this year, how you overcame it, and what are you going to do next year to, yeah, to build yourself, your mind, and yeah, continue to elevate yourself into becoming a better person. Not that you aren't, but you are.
Could always be
So
better.
yes. um so yeah, next journal entry, write it down, or dear self.
I remember you bought that journal like a
Mhm.
while back. Are you still using it?
Yes,
There
it's
we
the
go.
5 minute journal. Yeah, it just lists. I list down all of my challenges, what I can improve on, and yeah, just the exciting things that made my day. And yeah, I can use that as a way to reflect back on specific days, and you know, it's kind of like a time capsule of my
Mm.
emotions. Which is something we should try to do. Like, create a time capsule. We don't. That's another recommendation.
Where should we put it? Waikiki Beach?
Somewhere.
So, so at a private school.
Yeah, in the Hawaii.
Probably hazardous things along there.
But yeah, that's my
And
recommendation.
that ties in with my recommendation of the week as well about just like starting. It's a quote from our Staying Connected page at Staying Connected on
Hey,
Instagram, Facebook.
already here. Yeah.
Um, the quote was, "At first, it seemed impossible, but then like, you'll look back and wonder why you didn't start sooner." And no, I reflect on like my investing, all the hobbies that I picked up years ago, you know, and I was like, oh, I don't have time for that, or no, that seems so hard. I don't know if I could do it. And now that I'm here, I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I could have started in high school. I wish I could have started in elementary, and I could have been so much better by now. I could have been so um, more well off right now. I could have put myself in a better position if I started 10, 15 years ago, because time does accumulate. Compound interest is so real, and and now I look at all the things that I want to do, and it seems hard, but I know that I just need to do it. Even if I fail, I will still have the experience. Okay, this is why it's not successful. This is what I gotta do differently if I want to take on another project similar to this. you
Mhm.
know so even if you fail, you found a way that didn't work, and now you can add that on to the things that will work. So just start now. Whatever it is you want to do, start now, and I guarantee you in like 5, 10, 15 years, you look back, oh my goodness, I should have started sooner. you know so whatever it is you want to do, like I think my next project is, um, I want to be able to do the splits. So I've
Oh.
been trying to scratch every day, and if you haven't stretched in so long. And I used to be pretty flexible, and now I'm getting back at it. Should have never stopped, but it is painful. It is very not comfortable, but in 5 years from now or a couple years, I'll look back. Like, oh, okay, I should have just maintained it instead of losing it and then get it back. So it's easier to maintain than to lose it and get it back.
Yeah. Oh, watch next introduction. You're gonna be like, "Hey, my name's Scott. I'm from here, and I can do the splits." You're not faking.
That's how I'll start our video, right? I'll start here and then I'll pan the camera away, and I'm between like two chairs.
Yeah, we'll do a whole podcast just doing the splits the whole time and stretching.
Not very close at all.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh. So yeah, I mean, we just gotta be consistent with everything that we do and what we put our minds to. And then later on, yeah, we're gonna look back on this and see the growth that we've gained over so and so time.
I agree. Cool. So with that in mind, all of our social media.
Yep. So we are on everything pretty much. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you're watching this episode on YouTube, please subscribe. Don't forget to comment, like, and we are also on Spotify. Whenever you're on the go, you can have our voices inspiring you throughout the day, whether you're stuck in traffic or just at a cafe. And we're open to hearing your thoughts and your comments. And yeah, we're excited to lay out a lot more exciting topics for you, share our experiences. And yeah, we're wrapping up the year. It's been an exciting, it's been, a challenging yet exciting year for everybody. And we just want to thank you all again for tuning in to Staying Connected.
Thank you, connectors, and have a great day.
Awesome. All right, see you again.